right, so we're actually going to start off tonight with some audience participation here. So if you could just raise your hand if you have that one friend who is literally always trying to set you up with somebody. And how often, just to gauge, how often does that usually turn out well? Yeah, and all the hands that were up just like drop down like flies. Okay, well that's actually really good because that means that this is probably going to sound super familiar to you. The only difference with me is that I never had a specific matchmaker, but something more like a mob. In my junior year of high school, this was my speech and debate team. Our story actually begins the night that this picture was taken when I unwittingly fell for Say Steves, a nationally renowned speech tycoon. There's a picture for reference. And you know, honestly, he seemed like a pretty normal guy until the awards ceremony came, but as I saw him struggle to get off stage with 2 armfuls of trophies, I realized he was a little out of my league and abandoned it as a lost cause. My friends, on the other hand, saw it as a challenge. So, we don't even see or hear about this guy until state comes around, but it seems like the universe is trying to correct the fact that this has had 0 momentum for 6 months, because the second we step into this building, all of these crazy, almost close encounters start to happen. But nothing is as intense as what happens the last day of the tournament. The chaos begins when this random girl comes up to my teammate Abram and says, "Hi, I think that you're really cute, and so does my friend, and here's your number," or her number, whatever. And I very unwittingly say out loud, "Wow, if only someone would do that for me in SACE," which was stupid, because I was surrounded by people who had actually tried to make that happen. And sure enough, there's a pen and a piece of paper and my contact information out for the world to see. And I kid you not, the second the pen hits the table, a flock of giggling females begins to make their way towards us. And who is in the center of this circle but none other than Say's mother heffin' Steves, and he sits down 3 tables away from us. There's a screech on the tile as my friend Haley and I split to do what in our minds is the most logical course of action. She starts heading towards SACE, and I run out of the school like a lightning bolt, and I hide outside for 10 minutes straight. Meanwhile, Haley is talking to SACE. She tells him everything, and she gives him my number. Gorgeous, precious, beautiful SACE looks around at his entourage, smiles a smile that I assume can only be matched by Jesus Christ himself, and says, "Well, let's go meet this girl." Of course, my dorky self is too busy going Bear Grylls in this high school's parking lot, so that doesn't happen. Which, considering how terrified I was to meet face-to-face with this guy, seemed like a good deal. Until a couple of days later, when I realized every single time I check my phone, I had this little hope that I'd see a text from SACE. And deep down, I knew that I blew it. Because even though the idea of embarrassing myself in front of this guy was absolutely terrifying, not knowing what would have happened if I just took the 10 seconds of courage it would have taken to step out there and face my fears was mortifying. And you know, maybe this is a weird connection to make, but I feel like we've all been there before. And it's funny because so many times we end up going greater distances to stay in our comfort zones than to just step into an amazing opportunity. And it has literally 0 benefit to us. I mean, I know this sounds like the preface of some really awesome meet cute, but the fact of the matter is, I never saw this guy ever again. And even if I did meet him and I made a complete fool of myself, or it was a joke, or he hated my guts, I still would have gotten 1,000 times further than just not speaking to him at all. So, I guess my challenge for all of you tonight is, if there's anything you've just been really dying to do, but for whatever reason you haven't done it yet, let those reservations go. Because if you just keep making excuses for yourself or telling yourself that now isn't the perfect time to, I don't know, start making things happen in your life, then you're gonna get absolutely nowhere. And yeah, it is really hard. And I have to remind myself this every single minute of every single day. But once you start making that effort and challenging yourself to not let your fears stop you, it's life-changing. So please, dream big, aim high, shoot for the moon, or whatever celestial thing you want to focus on, because even if you do fail miserably, and you crash and burn grotesquely, and it's just awful, at the end of the day, you're still going to have one heck of a story to tell. You've been a great audience. Good night, everybody.